number 5 linebacker for your 2022 draft rankings.
Yeah, number 5 here, we're going with Damon Clark. I hope I said that right.
Damon.
All right, good.
Yep.
Damon,
LSU.
Damon, LSU. I mean, come on. I mean, LSU, Georgia, Bama, they always got really good linebackers that can fly and are physical. This was a tough one. I mean, I made him number 5. I really like him. He's extremely athletic. In fact, I thought he even played faster than his 4.57 speed. As the year went on, the thing I liked about the guy is he just got better and better. I mean, he's tough as hell. Sideline to sideline, he's great. I mean, anything that way, he's going to run you down, all right? Doesn't always take the right angle and all of that, but all in all, those are like minor things where I go, you can be coached. You can get better in those areas. Plays a little high at times. Wish he would get off blocks a little bit better. But all in all, we're talking about, a long-time starting middle linebacker that has length and speed, and they'll hit you. And, yeah, there's some stuff he's got to work on, but, I really like the football player. And I think when you're talking about, right, what you just brought up, the modern-day NFL, the kind of guy you're looking for, this is the kind of guy everybody's looking for. 6'2.5", 239. Oh, wait, he can run down the middle with Travis Kelce. Great. Oh, wait, they got a pulling guard. He's got to smash him. Great. He can do that too. So that's where he's got value. And like I said, when I first turned it on, I was going, a little raw, I wish he was a little more disciplined. As the year went on, I kept going, man, this guy, he's getting better and better. He understands what to do, and he got better at some of the physical things as well. I like this player a lot. I think we're talking about like a mid second round, late second round type of pick here.
Good that you kept watching the tape then. You didn't turn it off after the first few games. I always
divvy it up that way. You got to make sure you split it, because also, too, you never know. Oh, did the guy get off to a slow start?
Sure.
Maybe there was a part in the year where maybe he had a little injury. So to me, if you want to get the full picture, you can't pick like 3 games that are the start of the year. I try to pick one early, one in the middle, one towards the end. That's kind of how I try to do it.
Yeah, that's what NFL.com quoted a pro personnel director for an NFC team, said size, speed, production, he's got it. The rest of it can be coached. So kind of like the ability is there, and he did come on at the end of the year, and kind of like we were talking about with some of the other players in this draft, faced some adversity off the field. His family was living in New Orleans, had to leave because of Hurricane Katrina, moved to Baton Rouge, obviously created a home for him there, and then just continued to get better as his career went on. Concerns for him, though, what would they be? Why is he 5?
I think just the little bit of just got to get better at getting off blocks, staying disciplined in your gap that way. What was the other thing I wrote? Just having a little bit more of a natural feel for plays and what's coming. There's times you could tell there's like, wait, what play are they running back there? I think there was a little bit of that. And not quite as good in the trash as some of the guys we're going to talk about. When I say trash is, you're playing middle linebacker. Yeah, you got to be able to take on guys and get off and get the block, or, weave your way in and through guys and then make the tackle, right? That's playing middle linebacker. Some of that, and again, we're holding this to top 5 in the draft standards here. So, some of that is not up with the other guys. Really good. You think about Willie Gay, the pick from Mississippi State, middle linebacker that went on and played for Kansas City this year. To me, he's that type of guy, but with a little bit more size. I really like this player, and I think he's made for the NFL.
Now, doctors at the Combine discovered he had a herniated disc, had a spinal fusion surgery in March, will not play the season, though he is expected to make a full recovery.
Yeah, so that's an issue for sure. I didn't realize it was that serious.
That's what Pete has written in our rundown here. So
okay.
Pete has done his own evaluation.
Well, Pete's good. All right, so and just so people know, the guy that I want to make sure everybody knows that was right there, who I really kind of went back and forth with.
Who could have been number 5.
Could have been number 5 is the kid from is Muma. Chad Muma from Wyoming. He was a really good football player. He's a natural football player. But, just didn't think he was quite the athlete and as physical as Damon Clark.
Okay, and now hearing about the surgery, maybe you're putting in Muma into.
Well, it definitely,
position.
herniated disc and all that. That's going to scare teams for sure. There's no question about that.
All right, but he's number 5 for you right now in your linebacker rankings. Your number 4, is a guy who should be honored to be in the top 5, but
you're
probably
going to be happy.
You're lower on him than a lot of other people are.
Yes, I know this is the man of the hour at the position. N'Kobe Dean will be my number 4 linebacker.
A lot of people's number 1.
I get it. Well, I don't get it. I don't get why he would be your number 1. I don't. It's to me, this is one where it's just a little bit off of reputation, where he was ranked in high school, and then going to Ohio State. Really good football player. There's no question. I'm not sold this is a definite first rounder though. There's going to be teams that love him. The 4-3 teams who like speed linebackers and all of that, they're going to like him. So maybe some of those Seattle schemes. He's Denzel Perryman to me, right? All right, that's the name that I kept coming up to. Really good NFL, smaller middle linebacker, but to me, not a guy you take in the top 20 of the draft.
6 foot, 225.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, it's
5'11".
5'11". It is. It's 5'11" official at the combine. But the athlete is good. But I wasn't like, oh my gosh, wow, this is unreal. I can't believe this. This wasn't like I turned on the film and saw Roquan Smith or Patrick Queen.
That's who he's compared to.
I know. There's a similar. I get that comparison.
Height there for Dean is in the 5th percentile. So, he is smaller, undersized for the position, which is not a knock that you give everyone. I mean, you've had some on the offensive side of the ball, some undersized offensive linemen you think can still do it.
Definitely. It's not a position that, size predicates all. There's going to be a little beauty in the eye of the beholder like we always talk about. But, again, for a smaller guy, and I'm trying to just paint. It's not. This isn't Devin Bush or Devin White from a few years ago. It's not. It's not that. That was like you turned it on. You were like, oh my gosh, they got rockets up their ass. These two, and then you were like, oh my gosh, they hit like sledgehammers. This guy has partial rocket up his ass, but not the full-fledged rocket up his ass like that way. He's physical. And certainly brings it, and he's fun to watch. And this is what I hate about the draft, because I like this kid. I just don't like him as much as the other 3 we're going to talk about. There's no hesitation in his game that way, but change of direction, stuff like that, not very good. He will miss tackles in the open field. He's a little stiff that way as far as that's concerned. Then the ability, to get off blocks and fight through the trash, I thought was good, but I did not think was great, especially the getting off the blocks part. He can definitely get swallowed up and have an issue there. Now, you want to talk about if there is one guy, in my opinion, that can benefit from all the things you asked about the D tackles, and maybe this is the guy that benefited. Here's the guy that got put in the position to go, hey, you're behind the greatest defensive line in the history of football. Now just go make a tackle. And so to me, that's where it's a little overrated. And I know I'm in the minority. And again, it's not personal.
Well, I mean, that's a good point, because the production was high, and he won the Butkus Award at Georgia, also won it in high school.
Yeah.
The 3rd player to ever do that. Manti Te'o and Jalen Smith both did that as well. So, I mean, you're getting a guy who starred and had high production, high amount of tackles on a big-time team, but you think that the production outweighs the talent level.
Yeah, just a little bit. On this one, just a little bit. I do. Yeah. And again, I'm trying to, make this translation of the NFL game, which is different than college football. But yeah, when you hear me talk about, playing through the trash, I'm big on that. It's middle linebacker. Can you dig and weave and slip and slide your way through to make a tackle? Oh, wait, now the guard's on you. Can you hit him and kind of get off of him and now make a tackle? Those are things that are not the best for him. They're not. And, the acceleration, the twitch, that's, to me, the other reason he's not in that Devin Bush or Devin White or Roquan Smith category. First off, if his speed was like that, you know what he would have done? He would have run a 40. All he had to do is run a 4.5, and you shut everybody up, right? He was running a number he doesn't like. The film kind of shows that. Again, it's not that it's bad, but I wrote down on film, he looks like he's a 4.6 guy, somewhere around there. 5'11", 4.6 is not going to go over as big as we think he's a 4.5 or a 4.4 guy at 5'11", and the tape's good. So he made the right decision there. I'm not mad at him. But yeah, those were some of my concerns there with him a little bit.
And so you would not take him in the first round, I'm feeling.
He would be end of the first round for a 4-3-ish, we like speed linebackers type of team. That to me would be, I wrote down 25 to 40. That was kind of the range I threw him in. All right, so right around that range, yes. But again, like I said, I guess I wasn't as impressed with him in the open field. And when I say open field, I don't mean like running somebody down from behind. I mean, it's open field, and the guy can go any way he wants, and you got to break down and make the tackle with him. That, to me, was a little less than what I was expecting. We talk about the size and all that.
Right.
As far as the guys we're going to get to here in a minute, I thought he was a little slower to recognize plays as compared to them, too. So that was the thing. And, again, I want to make this very clear. This is a good player. I just wrote, I wish he was a hair bigger. I wish he was a hair faster. I wish he was a hair more reckless and physical, And he is behind the greatest DT duo in the history of college football.
Yeah.
He flips his hips nicely in the pass game, but when breaking down wide base one-on-one like we were just talking about, it's not where I want it to be. I wrote, this is not White or Raquan Smith. Good player, not wow. Can play small between the tackles and range to sideline. I wrote as good, but not as great as everybody's making it out to be.
He did not run at the pro day or test at the pro day due to a pec strain, I'm reading here. So maybe that's his reason.
I mean, hey, whatever.
We invite him to come to Stamford, Connecticut, run a 40 in the parking lot.
He's again
to quiet all doubters.
I respect this kid. I just want to make sure that's
he's in
known.
your top 5. He's in your top 5.
I know.
But if you're lower on him, that must mean you're higher on some other players, and I feel like you're higher on number 3 than a lot of the community out there.
Yeah, I'm definitely higher on Leo Chanel. Did I say that right?
Chanel number 5. And he was number 5 in college, I believe.
He was number 5 in college, and people got to start giving this damn guy some respect.
He's number 3 on your list.
I mean, I don't, again, here's one where I just go, I don't understand what we're seeing. I don't understand it. So here's a guy that's 6'3", 250. He's 4 inches taller than the guy we just talked about. He's 21 pounds bigger than the guy we just talked about. He's clearly faster than the guy we just talked about. All you got to do is turn on the film and go, this guy's faster, period. He takes on blocks better. He gets off blocks better, but he's white and went to Wisconsin, so we can't make him that good of a player. That to me, is what it kind of goes down to. This is a guy that's definitely being hurt by the pale skin effort and the Wisconsin effort. The people go, I don't know if they can really be that freaky at that position up there. It feels like some of that to me here. I do. And then when I, because I'm watching, this is what happens to me, and I know you're giggling because I'm saying crazy shit here, but this is what I turn on. When I turn on a guy like this, and I get through the first game, and I go, this guy is amazing. What? Has nobody? And I start looking in the computer, what was anybody saying about this kid?
Yeah.
How come I have not heard about him? And then you hear, and then it's all the scouting adages of the white guy. Oh, we're not sure about how athletic he is, and we're not sure if he has pass game value. I mean, what? I don't. It's insane. It's insane to me.
You saw an athletic player,
an extremely athletic player. I mean, just first off, the body is wow. All right, it's wow. You want me to read my thing here? Just quote for fun. I wrote, wow, my kind of mofo at middle linebacker. Thick as hell, thumper looking, wow legs, and a wow ass. All right. And then I wrote, right away, twitchy and explosiveness is real. And then, one of the second or third plays, he shoots a gap and runs it. And I went, holy shit. The acceleration is impressive. When he sees it, he comes downhill in a hurry. Very comfortable in the trash and can do it all in that. That's what I mean. He could take the block on. He could shed the block. He can dip and weave and go around a block to make the tackle. I mean, to me, he was a natural that way. I mean, it was just easy for him. So, from that stuff, I loved it. Also, change of direction, I thought was very good. Again, maybe not the flipping of the hips and coverage. That is probably where he can use a little work. But again, with how fast he is, and it's not like we're talking about a robot here. It's good enough. But this is the other area I loved him. Change of direction in the way that we talked about a minute ago. wide base, it's split. The guy can go either way. I thought he was very good in that department. Ball going down the line of scrimmage, his ability to side shuffle and stay square so he can stay in the gap. So wait, now the running back's turned it up into my gap. He's ready to go. You stop on contact. Oh, you hit Chanel. You stop there. Chanel. Right. So I wasn't, dude's physical in all areas. There's no hesitation. Natural at taking on blockers, can stand them up, can disengage, finds the football. Why aren't more people talking about this guy? He's really good. He's totally capable of being a 3-down linebacker. He's the most natural linebacker in the draft, as well as up there as the most physically gifted. Natural instincts, understands the game and the gap discipline at the position. He's QB of the defense. And then I wrote, I love this kid. He's definitely in the best linebacker convo. And I wrote, he's more athletic Demario Davis to me. I mean, we're talking about that kind of guy.
Well, his athleticism goes back into high school, too. He was named Wisconsin's offensive and defensive player of the year. He was a linebacker and running back in high school. His combine numbers were really good. Last thing Pro Football Focus said, those that covet a brick wall coming downhill will not find a better option in this class.
Yeah.
So we like brick walls.
Well, we like brick walls. We do.
You don't like to run into them if you're running back.
No, but I like, and if the brick wall can run to add with that, I mean, then you sign me up.
Yeah.
That's just, I think this guy's being undervalued. I really do. Now, I don't know where he's going to go. I kind of wrote down the same thing I wrote down for our last player. Mm-hmm. It's 25 to 40 in that range for me. Again, there's going to be some teams that are going to look at him. Some of those 4-3 teams that we talked about that might like Nakobe Dean, They probably won't like Leo Chenal. That's not their kind of guy. They're going to want, but what I want to say is I think he is their kind of guy. I think they're kind of biased and predetermining by the look of the player. And I want to go, I'm telling you, I think he can do everything Nakobe Dean can do in those space things and better. And that's why he's number 3 for me.
You're sensing some team could get a good value on Leo Chenal out there, your number 3 linebacker. You might have to spend a little bit higher draft pick on your top 2. And for number 2, we go back to Georgia.
Quay Walker. F***ing baller. Quay Baller Walker. He's another one of those guys like we talked about with the Iowa State guy or some of those where it's just like you turn it on and, I heard the guy was pretty good. And then it's like, whoa, are you kidding me? There was a longer linebacker. This is like, longer, thinner frame. But well put together thinner frame. I mean, it's not like it's like thin. It's
6'4",
like
240.
Yeah. He's got some, and this is Nakobe Dean right here. This is not Quay Walker if you're watching on YouTube. But, yeah, just has the look of being really, really athletic. To me, almost in his uniform, it looked like a kind of like a Fred Warner-ish type of look, if that makes sense. Fred Warner, I think, was 6'3" coming out around that, 237, 238. But it's that look. Both of these top 2 linebackers are going to hit on here have that. But, yes, this guy, 1, is a better player than Nakobe Dean. 2, he's more made for the NFL than Nakobe Dean. In all areas, all schemes will like him. And there's more versatility to the player, too. Really phenomenal. And I'll get into some of the specifics after you talk because I know I'm talking too much.
No. That's good. It's interesting because, we've talked about all the talent on Georgia's team. And so sometimes you get overlooked. Sometimes you got to transfer if you're one player. But he barely played his first 2 seasons at Georgia. Mm-hmm. Was a rotational player in 2020.
Yeah.
Finally became a starter in 2021. That's just a function of there being so many great players.
It's tough in Georgia. It's tough in Alabama.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
That doesn't concern you, though.
Well, top 10 pick in the draft, Jermaine Johnson from Florida State had to leave Georgia.
Yeah.
It's just, some guys don't want to wait their turn. Sometimes they do want to wait their turn. Sometimes, the system doesn't fit you or whatever, and you need to go somewhere else, whatever. He's, it's every college kid, every high school kid in the world wants to go to Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State.
He's still young. He's still 21. Turns 22 in May.
Got it all, Amon. I'm just going to go through it. Elite mover. Elite. Now, he didn't get to be just the true middle linebacker. When there was a slot receiver on the field or 3 receivers, he had to be the linebacker that kind of bumped out because he was better in space than Nakobe Dean. So Nakobe Dean got to be put in the position to get the stats more, to where they asked this guy to do, I feel like, the more advanced stuff, right? That would be the first thing I would tell you. But elite mover, phenomenal hips. And then when you see the guy, you go, well, he's a little longer and he's this great athlete. Well, how good can he really be in between the tackles and doing all that? I mean, physicality's real. And then he's not just a space linebacker. He was really good between the tackles. I mean, really good. Again, because of the length and everything there, he can take on some blockers and get rid of them. And then, me, as you've heard, obviously, here, the ability to weave through traffic and deal with that and still make a tackle or get a hit on the ball. He's as good as anybody in the draft, except for the guy we're going to talk about in 2 seconds. The ability to shuffle down the line of scrimmage, stay square, it's up there with our guy Chenal, who we just talked to from Wisconsin. So twitchy. Hips are amazing. When you talk about coverage, the ability to flip hips, cover Travis Kelce, and then the ability to put his foot in the ground and break on the ball, it's high level, like DB almost that way. I mean, he is really fluid and smooth and easy. He plays faster than 4.52, which was his combine time. His read and react is as good as anybody in the draft. Anybody. When he saw a play, he went and he reacted quicker than anybody I saw in this draft. He is all over it. This guy is going to be drafted up there. I mean, this is a guy that I think the league is keeping him quiet. Everybody likes Nakobe Dean. Don't tell about the other guy. Because this is one of those where just like the last guy, whoa, the other Georgia linebacker, holy crap, hey, friend from other team. Yeah, I know. Isn't he a hell of a player? He'll probably get drafted in front of Dean. I got a lot of texts like that. And I'm just, holy shit. Yeah, I can see why. Natural nose of the ball. Going to be a pain in the ass in zone coverage, too, because of how long he is and how he can move that way. He's a matchup guy for tight ends, like we talked about. Let's see. Fits any schemes. You heard that Fred Warner thing, and I compared him a little bit to Dean because I had just watched him over. I think he fits more schemes than teammate Dean. Between the tackles, I thought he was better than Dean. But the avoiding the blockers, the pass game value, faster, longer. He's gonna get thicker. Just has an incredibly high ceiling.
Going to get thicker. That was the only thing he doesn't have is the wows that you gave to Chanel for the rear and the legs. Channing Tindall was another guy, Georgia, too, who's in the mix for one of the top linebackers.
Going to be drafted, and yes, tall, just not quite the player, the athlete these guys are. A little bit stiff, right? So just he's a drop down, but a mid-round pick.
Yeah, they're all going to get drafted somewhere.
It's
crazy. 3 linebackers from 1 defense, all going to get drafted. You like Quay Walker, number 2.
3 D linemen that all should be in the top 10, in my opinion.
Right.
A safety that's a first-round safety and sign. I mean, it's amazing.
I'm starting to think that Georgia, at least defensively, may have been able to win a game in the NFL. There's always that debate, right?
Yeah,
could the best college team beat the worst NFL team? I mean, with that defense,
yes,
starting to sound like they would have given a lot of offenses some trouble in the NFL. You like him, Quay Walker, number 2.
Yeah.
You didn't like him as much as your number 1 guy.
Yeah. Well, this guy's got some really freaky traits. Walker's not far off from this guy. All right. I think and Walker, too, to add he's got a little value as a pass rusher on the edge, too. Okay. That's another reason I made him. Pass rusher on the edge, if you wanted to make him a stand-up outside linebacker for a year or 2 before you moved him inside because you had other guys, he's phenomenal at the end of the line of scrimmage and holds his own and doing all that. Now we get to this guy who's a lot like that, but better in those areas.
Devin Lloyd from Utah.
Thank you for keeping me straight there. It's an interesting guy. Another guy that I kind of wrote down has this Fred Warner-ish type of body. And what I mean by that is like good legs, they got a skinny waist and, some square shoulders. And you just go, man, they just look like they're athletic and powerful. That's Jamie Collins. Remember Jamie Collins from You know, it's that kind of guy. You know, maybe that's who I should have said he was. With Micah Parsons' versatility. And that's the big thing here. First off, I mean, this is a longer Isaiah Simmons-looking guy, right? Let's say that. But a better player than Isaiah Simmons. Maybe not the specimen quite, the athlete. This guy's 6'3", 237, right? He ran 4.66 or something like that.
Yeah,
Plays
4.66.
faster than that.
Came to Utah as a safety and then bulked up and became a linebacker.
I could see that. I mean, so I think the first thing I would talk about is nobody's better at getting off blocks than this kid at middle linebacker. I mean, nobody can block this kid at middle linebacker. So that's what I loved about him. He sees it, shoots his gun. You know him about that. Middle linebacker, I'm big into hesitation, no hesitation. The good ones don't hesitate. They just go, okay, this might hurt, but I'm going. All right. So what? Here we go. That's what they do. And that's what I loved about him. But then, like, getting off blocks, you know, again, the fighting through the trash, he is elite in those areas. I mean, just throwing people away, or again, the dodging of weaving of blockers and still making a tackle. I mean, he's a natural playing that way. So that's where I really loved it. You know, the side shuffle, all of that. His upper body strength to get off him, off the blocks, or set the edge as a defensive end or outside linebacker, it's off the charts good for his size. And then there's like legit pass rush value to go on top of that. I mean, legit, like where you'd go, yeah, hit third down. This guy's going to be able to line up, and we're going to be able to like depend on him, and he's going to get pressure on the quarterback and cause some issues there. So that's where he's rare. He really is rare. He's kind of a unique human being all in his own right. He's got a lot of elite aspects of his game. And again, another guy that's going to kind of fit in any scheme.
At Plug and Play 16 says, hey, Chris and Ahmed, really like Devin Lloyd. Long, rangy linebacker, kind of similar body to Darius Leonard. Wondering if you see him being an impact player like Leonard.
Yeah, I do. And you know, he's got better strength than Leonard. You know, Leonard is... You know, of course, a 218-pound man here. We're talking about a guy here that I go, he's 237. He'll be 245 or 247 within the next 12 months. I mean, that's just what happens with these guys more times than not. You know, so he's got more of a physical element to his game that Leonard does not have. I'm not going to say he's quite the athlete Leonard is, though, either. Now, you know, in some areas, you know, is the like, you know, in some areas as far as like, flipping hips and stuff like that in coverage, that it's not the best. I wish it was a little bit better. But again, his ability to change direction and his length and stuff like that is going to be a handful in the middle of a defense. I used to hate playing linebackers like that because you just go, oh, there's the zone hole, and you just go, man, it's there, but damn, it's hard to get it up and over that guy right there. Or, damn, there's a hole to the right of him. I want to throw it, but he's pretty quick and got long arms to stick his damn arm out there and tip the ball in the air. You know, there's real value in that. So, you know, that's where I really liked him. Showed, like, at some plays, I mean, you watch him accelerate, and you go, whoa. So it's in there for him. You know, the heavy hands, the ability to punch, you know, even as a speed to power, you know, really slick and shifty like I talked about to make people miss in the run or pass game. His power at the point of contact is impressive. He knocks O-line back. He dominates tight ends when he's on them. But this kid to me is, this is a top 25 pick of the NFL
top
draft.
Top 25 pick.
I think so. Somewhere in there, yeah. I'm going to say somewhere that 18 to 25 range, I could see him going for sure.
So not quite the elite talent that Micah Parsons was. And
I mean, not quite that.
We throw around generational talent, but Micah Parsons really was last year.
He was.
Saw it in the impact that he had.
Yes.
But what kind of impact could a guy like Devin Lloyd have on a team that drafts him next year?
I mean, start day one, change the total thought, overall thought of that defense, and like a playmaker too. You're going to get a guy that can do all your scheme stuff and all that, but you know he's going to make some plays outside the realm of the scheme. You know, and again, when we talk about your question to lead off this segment here, the modern day linebacker, it's got to be able to do a little everything. You know, it's hey, this week cover a tight end, this week power run game. hey, this week we're missing a defense end or an outside line. We need you to go out there and stand up a little bit more. That to me is where his value is, let alone he can play in the middle of the defense at a very elite level.
So you mentioned changing the complexion of a defense immediately from the moment they get there. Do you notice that with any of the linebackers that you watch, like their presence, their leadership, the way they orchestrate the defense, like they have that ability to be day one alpha dog, even though I'm a rookie coming into this league?
Yeah, definitely. You can see that, and again, I think this is another position that's a little undervalued as far as what it does to your team. Again, I think when you talk about top defenses, and usually when we go, well, they're a fast defense, what we really mean is they got fast linebackers, so it makes them fast. Because everybody's got fast corners and safeties.
Yeah.
It's the linebackers that put it over the edge. Whether you go through the great defenses of time or whatever, that were like that way, that's what makes it fast. And you look at the top defenses, right now in football, the Ravens are that's run game. Sorry. Ravens do have a fast linebacker.
Yeah.
The Bills are number one defense in football, fast linebackers. Carolina has got very athletic middle linebackers. The 49ers, we just talked about them with Fred Warner. The Browns at number 5. I mean, again, Owusu-Koramoah made an instant impact for that football team, to answer that right off the bat. Mm-hmm. Micah Parsons, you talk about that. I mean, to me, that is part of team speed. And again, they're in the middle of the field. They have effect of so many plays. I don't think they quite get the value they deserve.
I mean, so if your team is in the middle of the first round
for Dallas,
right? Totally,
right.
If your team's in the middle of the first round this year and gets Devin Lloyd, you should be very happy.
I think
maybe
so.
Got some value right there. He is the number 1 linebacker for Chris Simms in his final positional rankings for the 2022 NFL Draft. There it is, Devin Lloyd from Utah with a couple of Georgia guys in the top 5. Once again with Chad Muma from Wyoming.
Yep,
barely missing out on the top 5. Who knows? Maybe in a day or two, you'll put him in there.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.